Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with a teacher that doesn't like me. Have you ever had one of those teachers in school that you know just doesn't like you and treats you differently than others, especially if they have their favorites and they get treated in one way, but it doesn't matter what you do, just never seems to be good enough for your teacher? Well, today we're going to talk about what to do in a situation like that. So how to deal with a teacher that doesn't like you. Again, in order to figure this out and to know how to resolve this situation, we need to make sure that we're understanding the problem correctly, because the way that we define our problems leads to the solutions that we try to put in place to solve those problems. If our definition of the problem is incorrect, then it doesn't matter what we do, we're never going to come up with the correct solution. If I'm in the mindset of this just isn't fair, my teacher isn't treating me fairly, and I'm in that victim mindset that this is happening to me and it's not fair and it's not right. That may be true. It may not be fair and it may not be right, but it is happening. And what we know is that everything happens for a reason. There is no chance in this world. So if you are being treated differently by your teacher, there's a reason for that. If I'm in the victim mindset, though, I'm going to be looking outside of myself as the cause of the problem and also the solution of the problem. So in this situation, it may be that my teacher is the problem. So I don't get as good of scores on my assignments as I think that I should get. And I come home and my parents kind of get on me and say, "What's up with this? You got a C?" And my response is, "I know, I can't believe it. My teacher just doesn't like me. He or she just for some reason grades me lower than everybody else. And it doesn't matter what I do, I still can't get a good grade in that class." If I'm in that mindset, there's nothing that I can do to change because it's the teacher's problem. And if I want to get better grades or whatever, then the teacher is the one that needs to change how they see me. Well, what if I want to take this or approach this from a hero perspective, from the scarcity or from the paradigm of abundance? And I want to take accountability for my life and the circumstances in my life. Instead of looking at my teacher as the cause of the problem, I would begin to look at myself and say, I wonder why it is that my teacher treats this person this way, and yet they treat me this way. And I may say to myself, well, it's because that student, just does whatever the teacher wants them to do. And, they're just trying to butter their teacher up, and they're just trying to get their teacher to like them. And I'm just not willing to do that. Okay, I have the freedom to do that, right? I can choose to say, I'm not going to do what that other student is doing. I'm going to just be me. But then I can also accept the consequences of that choice and to realize that there is cause and effect. So whatever I choose to do, there are going to be consequences. So it's my decision not to try to get on the good side of the teacher, not to try to influence the teacher, not to try to develop a relationship with the teacher. No, I'm going to just be who I'm going to be. I'm free to choose that. But then I'm also choosing the consequence. Because maybe by behaving that way, I'm sending some message or signal to the teacher that the teacher does begin to view me in a certain way, which influences how the teacher scores my paper, how the teacher sees me as a person. And again, I don't control that, but I influence it. The other thing that I could do in that situation, though, is I could look around and say, well, the teacher treats these people this way. I wonder what I could do to influence the teacher to see me differently. And I may be willing to start changing the way I do things in order to try to influence the teacher to see me differently. So there's a tool called the Johari Window that can help us see and understand ourselves better. So there's 4 windows, and this window here represents what I see in myself and what others see in me. So this is the part of me that's just kind of an open book. It's who I am, and it's who I present. It's what I know about me and what others see. There's a part of me that I see and that others don't see. So this would be my private self that I try to keep from other people. And then there's a part of me that I don't see, but that others do see. And then there's a part of me that I don't see and others don't see. Now these boxes aren't equal in size. And in fact, what we hope is that this box would be the largest box. So this would be our authentic self. I don't hide anything from the world, and I have a pretty good idea of who I am and my strengths and my weaknesses. So how do you think we can expand this box? Well, there are 2 ways, and one is by being more open with others and sharing who we are and being more authentic, more transparent with them. The other way, though, is to look at this box, which is kind of our blind spot. So this is what others see and we don't see. So in my relationship with my teacher, it may be that, I think that I have a good sense of humor, and I think that I'm really funny. And so I try to be funny in class. But maybe my teacher doesn't see it as being funny. Maybe my teacher may see it as being disrespectful or irritating or annoying. And again, this is blind to me because I just think, I'm being funny. And it seems like the other kids like it. Well, if I'm open to seeing what other people see, I may learn some things about myself that I'm unaware of. And as I do that, then that box will expand. So if I have a teacher that doesn't like me, the solution to that is I need to make a shift from putting the focus on my teacher and the problem being there to looking at, okay, I can't control my teacher, but I can influence my teacher. And whenever I blame, all I'm doing is putting me in bondage. I'm keeping myself stuck. So instead of blaming, I can look at myself and I can try to see if there are things that I'm doing that are influencing my teacher one way or another. The other thing that I can do is I could go to my teacher and I could seek for understanding or seek for information about, what's going on in our relationship. Is there something that I'm doing or not doing that is influencing the way that you see me? And by having that conversation, I may learn something that will allow me to make changes in my own life that might then improve my relationship with my teacher. And I can take that knowledge and information and then use it in my relationships with other people as well. Hopefully this has been helpful to you today. And if you have a teacher, it doesn't have to be a teacher. It could also be a boss or a coworker, a parent, a sibling, anyone. The same principles work. But I would encourage you to try what we've talked about today, to look at yourself and then to go to them and see if you seek to understand, to gain some knowledge or insight that might help you change your behavior in the relationship that will improve that relationship. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found today's information useful and beneficial to you. If you want to know more about what we teach and what we do, come back and visit us again tomorrow and subscribe to our YouTube channel.